Is it true that the Beatles recorded the entirety of their debut album, Please Please Me, in one single day? Well, technically yes, but there's a little more context to it. First of all, I think it's important to understand that this is not how the Beatles recorded their albums. Please Please Me is pretty much the only one that was recorded in a single day, so it's not like it was a common practice. Usually, when the time came to record an album, they had to rehearse a song first, and during the rehearsals, they would modify things in the song, which means they had to rehearse again. They were still considerably fast, especially if you consider the fact that unlike many other bands at the time, actually the vast majority, they were making the songs from scratch. So then how is it possible that they recorded Please Please Me in a single day? Yes, you do have a lot of covers, but you still have 8 original Lennon-McCartney songs. So how? Well, even though they were originals, the boys were already used to perform the songs live. George Martin was in a rush, he needed an album, so for the song selection, he picked the songs the band already knew how to perform. In other words, Please Please Me is closer to a live album rather than a studio one. What we're listening to is essentially the studio version of their performances at the Cavern Club, which is why, even though other Beatlemania albums like A Hard Day's Night, Beatles for Sale, With the Beatles follow a similar songwriting pattern, this one feels so unique. And you want to know a little fun fact that makes this whole thing even more impressive and interesting? On the day of the recording, John Lennon was sick. He had a cold and he still managed to go through 11 hours of recording. So yeah, the Beatles did in fact record a whole album in one single day, but they had already played the songs in their live performances over and over again, so it's not like they didn't practice beforehand.